Good morning, everyone. This is Priyanka Rajmane from PICT Pune. Welcome you all. As there is demand by few students, ma'am, please go for one small video on a recursive function. I am going for a video on a recursive function. Now listen. Before going for a recursive function, first of all, we must know that what exactly a function is, how to write a function, what exactly a function definition is. Okay. Now I have written one function def space name of a function is a greet followed by parenthesis followed by colon. Now this is called as def is a definition space name of a function followed by bracket function always has parenthesis followed by colon. Now print good morning is a message that I want to print here. Okay. And whenever see, in Python, function has two things with it. This first two lines called as function definition, and the third line is called as calling a function. Okay, so using greet method, just by simply writing down greet followed by parenthesis without any colon, semicolon, we will call it. Okay, so if I write down this code, I will get the output as a good morning. Okay. Now, what exactly a recursive function is? Now, a function that calls itself is known as a recursive function. It means if I go for this above code, okay, and if I write down the same function again, listen very carefully in my code. Now listen, inside a greet function, inside a function definition, I am calling a function. Okay, so it will go and print good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, n number of a time, infinite number of a time, as I have not mentioned where. Okay, I will not execute this code. You can execute this code. It will go and carry on executing n number of a times. Okay, now listen. So what exactly a recursive function is? A function that calls itself is known as recursive function. Okay, I have made one small change here. Okay, now listen. Uh, One critical requirement of this recursive function is termination point or a base case. Every recursive program must have a base case to make sure that function will terminate. And if we did not mention any base case or a termination point, then your program will go on executing n number of a times or infinite number of a times. This can be, this case you can see with this program. Okay, if you execute this, as I have not mentioned where to stop, where to halt. Okay, so it will go on executing it. Okay, now listen, we'll go for a recursive function. What exactly recursive function? A function which call itself is known as a recursive function. What is important point that we must mention in recursive function? A termination point or a base case where to stop. Okay. Now I am taking one example, a simple example, factorial of a 3. Now what exactly a factorial of 3? We all know that whenever it's a factorial of a 3, it's 3 into 2 into 1. Can I write down it like factorial of 3 is equal to 3 into factorial of a 2? What exactly a factorial of 2 is? Factorial of 2 is nothing but 2 into factorial of 1. What exactly factorial of 1 is? 1 into factorial of 0. What exactly a factorial of 0 is? Factorial of 0 is 1. Okay. So we know that the factorial of 0 is 1. And we evaluate all preceding statements. If I evaluate this, then I will get, now listen, it has started with what? It has started with factorial of 3 and it has come where? To a factorial of 0. Okay, now here I am getting the value as a 1. Factorial of 0 is 1. So I put the value as a 1. 1 into 1 is 1. Okay, now what is factorial of a 1? At this place, which value get plus? Factorial of 1 function has written a value 1. Okay, so we'll get the result as a 2 into 1. Now what is value for factorial of a 2? We got the result as a 2. So it will give me a result as a product of 3 into 2, that is 6. Okay, so this is how it will proceed. Okay, now I will now uh, can I make this factorial of 3 into whenever it's a factorial of 3, it's 3 into factorial of a 2. Factorial of 2 is equal to 2 into factorial of 1. Can I make it more generalized for for any n number? Now, being a good programmer, our responsibility is we should make a program more and more generalized, or it should accept the things for any n values, any n number of a program statement or any n input. Okay. Now here, if you see the thing, can I make the factorial of n as a more generalized as a n into factorial of n minus 1? Yes or no? Yes, we can. Okay. So, with this, I got the generalized thing as a factorial of n is equal to n into factorial of n minus 1. Okay. So, once I got this, I will do what? Now, I will try to write down program. Okay. Where my base case will be what? Now, in above program, the above part that we have seen, what is my best case, critical case? The factorial of 0. Whenever I reach factorial of 0, see, if I reach to factorial of 0 and still I am proceeding, then it will do what? It will try to calculate factorial of 0. Factorial of 0 is equal to 0 into factorial of minus 1, which will give me a result as a 0 only. No else, nothing else. Okay. So I don't want to go for it. What I want to, where should I stop? Where should I halt? I should halt at factorial of 0 equal to 1. Okay. So factorial of 0 equal to 1 will be my best case. Okay. And I will have something as a factorial of n is equal to n into factorial of n minus 1. Okay. Now I have written one code for the same. This is a factorial function def factorial of n. If the value of n, if user has entered a value of n is equal to 0, then do what? Write down or display result, the value of a result as a 1. Okay. Else do what? If n is not 0, or you can check, you can add one more constraint, n is greater than 0 or not. Greater than, or the value of n must be greater than or equal to 0. If it is less than 0, that is negative, then we can't find out factorial of that number. You can display that message. Okay. Else do what? Result equal to n into factorial of n minus 1. Okay. Result is equal to what? N into factorial of n minus 1. Okay. And this will go on, go on, go on. Now it will call this function. Now listen very carefully. Now if I consider the value of n, I'm accepting that value from the user. So n is equal to int input, enter a number, that n value. For example, user has entered a value 3. Okay. So it will call what? It will call factorial of result is equal to 3 into factorial of 2. Factorial of 2 will do what? Internally, I'm please consider this. I'm just making it a comment and I'm trying to write down all these things. Okay. So n into factorial of n minus 1, and I have considered the value of n is equal to, for example, 3 into factorial of 2. Okay. Then internally it will call what? 2 into factorial of 1. Into factorial of 1. Then internally it is going to call what? It is going to call 1 into factorial of 0. Please listen to this part very carefully. Whenever it is calling factorial of 0, it means the value of n is it means the value of this n is equal to 0, then it will return result as a 1. Now it has written here as a 1. 1 into 1, multiplication of 1 with 1 will result as a 1. Then it will resolve this 1 into 2, that is 2. Then 2 into 3, that is 6. Okay. And once it has done with this manipulation, you can see the indentation of else part with the result part. Okay. So once it has done with this, it will return the result as a 6. Okay. Now, so I have made it a comment, and I have done one, yeah. So I have wrote uh, all this part, execution part, that is for I in a range of n, whatever the value of n, 5, 4, 3, 2, I have considered it for 5, and it is trying to print a factorial of curly braces, curly braces. Curly braces, curly braces means what? We have something called as dot format operator in Python. Okay, so it is like a percent d in C or C++. Okay, so here the first curly braces will get a value as a I, and in second as a factorial of I. Okay, so factorial of 0 is 1, factorial of 1 is 1, factorial of 2 is 2. Okay, you can see how it is returning all these things. Factorial of 3 is 6, factorial of 4 is 20, sorry, 24. Factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, I have not done, as I have mentioned, number is equal to 5. It means it will consider how many numbers? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is how it will work. If you have any doubt, any query, you can write it down to me at prrajmanan@pict.edu. uh, and I will give you one exercise. In our practical sessions, we have done one program, Fibonacci series. Okay, so try to make a Fibonacci series program using a recursion. That will be your assignment, and you will submit that assignment to me on my on in your classroom work. Okay, thank you all. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay home.